say Frosted K, meaning Kelsey, set my brother up and had her brother pow him, and say she didn't know he pow my brother 5 times in the back, the stomach, and the chest.
Atlanta has always been a city where gossip and music collide. But when it came to the death of T-Hood, the line between rumor, evidence, and cold, hard truth blurred in ways nobody could have imagined. At first, the world thought they knew the story: a rising rapper with a dangerous temper, a young woman, Kelsie Frost, and Rasheeda's daughter crying out for help, and a tragic night that ended in blood on the Frost family driveway. But then, police reports began to leak, and those reports painted a picture so disturbing, so layered, that it left even veteran detectives shaken. Because those reports didn't just talk about abuse, they didn't just describe violence, they suggested something far darker, a setup. Yes, you heard that right. The official investigation into T-Hood's death raised the possibility that Kelsie Frost's daughter, the child he shares with Rasheeda, may have orchestrated the night that ended his life. The streets buzzed with one question: did Rasheeda's daughter plan it? Did she lure T-Hood into the very trap that ended him? The leaked report opened with what seemed like the ordinary chaos of a toxic relationship. Text messages, hundreds of them, pulled directly from Rasheeda's daughter.
The family posted on social media a phone call that they had with Kelsie Frost's daughter.
Little shit with the big iron, they came and he was taking it to handcuffs. I told you that on the phone.
So according to this post, they posted this on social media tagging K.
I don't condone that shit. I don't give a fuck whether or not. Like, I hear what y'all are saying, but y'all, like, you can't, like, I
don't understand how they would let him out if you told them that your brother shot Tevin. They supposed to have him. Okay, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna find out.
Daughter's phone. She wrote at 1:32 a.m., just 2 days before the incident. He hit me again. I can't keep hiding this from mom and dad. My arms are bruised. My neck feels swollen. I don't want to live like this anymore, her best friend responded. You gotta get out. He gonna kill you one day. Don't wait for that to happen. But buried deeper in those same texts, investigators found another message, one that instantly changed the tone of the entire case. Sent just hours before the deadly confrontation, at 8:44 p.m. on the night in question, Rasheeda's daughter typed, "He has to pay tonight. I can't live like this anymore. It's either him or me." Those words, "he has to pay tonight," echoed. Like a thunderclap, screenshots hit social media, spreading.
Y'all, it's getting sticky. Kelsie Frost ain't slow by far. Y'all, I think she playing the 50. Listen, T-Hood family dropped a phone recording with Kelsie Frost on the other end. Yes. So she was like, "Oh, I don't condone in that. No, my brother was all on his own with this." Then they dropped the second recording showing that she said that she told the police that her brother was the one guilty. Now, apparently, somehow, some way, he got let off, okay? He got handcuffed, and apparently he got out of that situation. To me, I don't know. This is all alleged, but I don't know no situation where a person say you guilty that you related to, and you just get off. Huh? Hello, queso daddy.
Faster than fire in dry grass. Bloggers went wild. Some insisted it was nothing more than a battered woman venting. Others swore it was a confession of premeditated declaration that T-Hood would not walk away from that night alive. The police report described the timeline in chilling detail. Neighbors claimed they heard shouting inside the Frost property around 11:05 p.m. One witness told officers, "I heard her voice. I'm sure of it. She was yelling, 'You think I'm scared of you? You think you can keep doing this to me?' Then there was a loud crash, like glass breaking. After that, silence. And then I heard..."
Okay, well, I'm just trying to see what is going on.
I'm trying to figure out why you calling my business asking me about my son.
Baby.
Like, I don't understand why you're even calling him.
Your son and my son been having something going on. I can give you your son's phone number right now. I have the messages.
You said about my son, what?
Your son and my son been having something going on. I just went through my son's phone and I just seen what the fuck I seen. Now, Rasheeda, don't make me clan. I can give you your son's phone number. I can send you messages, baby. I have it all.
Okay, well, guess what? Do it.
Heard a man shouting, but it didn't sound like anger. It sounded like panic. Just minutes later, another neighbor described seeing shadows moving. In the driveway, one figure ran toward a black SUV, another figure stumbled, collapsed. When police arrived, T-Hood was lying on the pavement, but the strangest detail? The Frost's entire security DVR system was gone, not broken. Not destroyed, gone. The report stated plainly, DVR device appears to have been forcibly removed. From the wall mount, cables cut, possible evidence tampering, that single line lit the internet on fire. Why would a DVR vanish unless someone wanted the footage hidden, and then came the 911 call? A woman's voice, trembling, desperate, "Please, he's hurt. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Please hurry, he's bleeding. I didn't mean." The call disconnected before the operator could get a name. The report redacted the identity, but the world had already made up its mind. It was Kirk Frost and Rasheeda's daughter. When the report leaked, fans didn't just react, they erupted. On one side, #JusticeForTHood trended, with fans calling Rasheeda's daughter a manipulator who lured him to his death. On the other, #ProtectTheFrosts exploded, with supporters insisting she was a survivor fighting for her life. The divide was brutal. One viral tweet read, "She's not a killer, she's a victim. Stop blaming her for saving her own life." Another countered, "Victim. She said he has to pay tonight. That's not survival, that's a setup." Meanwhile, the police report dug deeper. It described a chilling discovery, a small knife found in the bushes near the Frost driveway. The blade carried traces of T-Hood's blood and another DNA profile that wasn't his. Detectives wrote, "DNA analysis pending, possible secondary. Subject involved in altercation." That single sentence reignited theories that someone else, maybe even a member of the Frost family, was involved that night. The Frosts, once the flashy couple of love and hip-hop Atlanta, were suddenly silent. Paparazzi caught Kirk Frost and Rasheeda leaving the courthouse, their daughter shielded between them, faces pale and tight. Rasheeda, usually smiling for cameras, kept her head down, refusing to answer shouted questions when reporter yelled, "Did your daughter lure Hood to his death?" Kirk Frost snapped back, "Watch your mouth. Don't play with my family like that," but the silence from VH1 was just as deafening. Insiders whispered that producers had footage from weeks before the tragedy. Explosive arguments between Rasheeda's daughter and T-Hood filmed during a cast meetup. Fans begged the network to release it, but VH1 stayed quiet, leaving the public to stew in speculation. Meanwhile, T-Hood's family turned their grief into fury. His mother, tears streaming down her face, clutched a framed picture of him at her press conference. "They tried to paint my son as a monster. But my son was set up. He was lured into that house and he never came back out alive. If the police don't fight for him, I will. If the Frosts think their fame can cover this up, they got another thing coming." Her words cut through the noise of gossip and memes. Grounding the case in raw pain, T-Hood's sisters joined in, blasting the Frost family on Instagram. One sister posted, "Kirk Frost, Rasheeda, your daughter wanted him gone, and now he is. We want justice, we want the truth. Stop hiding behind your money." The more the family spoke, the more pressure mounted on investigators. But what truly shook the case was the final page of the leaked report, bold letters underlined twice. Further investigation required into the role of redacted in orchestrating events leading to the victim's death. The name was blacked out, but everyone knew who it pointed to. Kirk Frost and Rasheeda's daughter. Atlanta was no longer whispering, it was screaming. Bloggers posted hour-long breakdowns. TikTokers analyzed the 911 call, claiming the voice matched clips of her old IG lives. YouTubers uploaded deep dives with titles like, "Did Rasheeda's daughter plan this all along?" The case wasn't just in court, it was on every screen in America. And as part one of this saga closed, one truth was undeniable: the world didn't know if Rasheeda's daughter was a victim or a mastermind. But the leaked reports, the missing DVR, the bloody knife, and the haunting text, "He has to pay tonight," made sure of one thing: this was no longer just a story about abuse. It was now a story about power, betrayal, and a young woman accused of setting up the man she once claimed to love. The city of Atlanta woke up to whispers that felt more like explosions. What started as a scandal about bruises, screaming matches, and police reports had suddenly shifted into something darker. People weren't just saying T. Hood abused Kelsie Frost, they were now questioning whether T. Hood's death was the result of a heated moment or a carefully orchestrated setup. And at the center of it all, once again, stood Kirk Frost, Rasheeda Frost, and their daughter Kelsie Frost. The Frost name, already scarred by years of love and hip-hop chaos, was now tied to words like murder, cover-up, and conspiracy. Social media didn't hesitate. One viral tweet exploded in minutes. First, it was the police reports proving abuse. Now, the same family that cried for justice is being accused of staging the whole thing? Atlanta is shaking. Witnesses claimed the night wasn't what it seemed. Neighbors described lights blazing at the Frost house long after midnight. A young man swore he saw Kelsie Frost pacing on the porch, phone in hand, whispering into the night, "Just wait till he gets here." Just wait. Those words, real or fabricated, spread like wildfire. Screenshots appeared, alleged surfaced, and bloggers circled back to the question that could ruin everything. Did Kelsie Frost lure T. Hood into a trap? Police sources only fueled the flames. Officers never gave official statements, but insiders leaked fragments. They spoke of a missing weapon that conveniently disappeared. They whispered about altered surveillance footage, gaps appearing at the exact moment the fight broke out. And then came the most damning leak claims that Kirk Frost and Rasheeda Frost made urgent calls within hours of the shooting, not to lawyers, not to police, but allegedly to producers. The implication was brutal. Was the Frost family more concerned about protecting their TV image than protecting the truth? On Instagram Live, one neighbor didn't hold back. That man didn't just walk into his death. Somebody made sure he wasn't walking back out. And the Frosts know more than they're telling. Suddenly, Kelsie Frost's name was everywhere. Not as the trembling daughter holding up police reports, not as the survivor crying on camera, but as the alleged mastermind who flipped the narrative to protect herself and her family. For weeks, she had been framed as the brave victim of abuse. Now, she was being painted as a young woman capable of orchestrating a deadly setup. And then came the footage. Grainy, shaky film from across the street, but powerful enough to go viral in seconds. In the clip, T. Hood can be heard yelling, his voice cracking with rage and fear. "You set me up. You think I don't know what this is?" He points toward the Frost driveway, toward the shadows where people swear Kelsie Frost stood. The video cuts off just as a struggle echoes into the night. By morning, hashtags like #JusticeForTHood and #Frost cover-up dominated timelines. Kirk Frost and Rasheeda Frost tried to stay silent, but silence only poured gasoline on the fire. Fans pulled up old love and hip-hop clips, replaying every moment. The Frosts swore they protect their family at all costs. Suddenly, those words didn't sound like parental defense. They sounded like foreshadowing a warning hiding in plain sight. Then came the money trail. Bloggers uncovered alleged bank transactions, thousands in cash pulled from Frost accounts. The very week T. Hood died, theories exploded. Was it hush money, security, or payment for silence from someone who knew the truth? Nobody could prove it, but the whispers were enough to keep headlines screaming. When Rasheeda Frost finally broke, cameras were waiting. Outside her boutique, a reporter dared to ask if Kelsie Frost had set up T. Hood. Her voice cracked with rage. "My daughter is not a murderer. She's been through enough. Y'all think you know, but you don't know nothing." But instead of calming suspicion, her words fed the fire. If Kelsie Frost was innocent, why did Rasheeda Frost sound so desperate? Why did her body language look like fear, not outrage? Inside the Frost circle, fractures grew. Castmates whispered off-record that the family wasn't unified. Some claimed Kirk Frost believed Kelsie Frost acted recklessly and put them all at risk. Others swore Rasheeda Frost would protect her daughter no matter what. Production insiders hinted VH1 was panicking, debating whether to pull Frost footage from upcoming seasons. One insider told a blogger flat out, "This isn't storyline drama anymore. This is life and death. and VH1 doesn't want blood on their brand, but the public wanted blood. The community demanded updates from the police. They demanded statements from Kirk Frost. They demanded confessions from Rasheeda Frost. And above all, they demanded Kelsie Frost answer for her role in the chaos. The narrative had flipped. Kelsie Frost, once the face of survival, was now the face of suspicion. In barbershops, nail salons, and street corners across Atlanta, debates grew louder. One woman summed it up: if he abused her, he deserved jail. But if she set him up, that's murder. And that's on her bloodline. Every hour, new receipts dropped. A supposed text where Kelsie Frost told a friend, "It's handled. I'm safe now." A voicemail where a male voice whispered, "Don't say nothing. Just let them think it was heat of the moment." Real or fake, the internet devoured it. And the Frost name sank deeper into scandal. Even police couldn't keep the story straight. At first, they labeled it self-defense gone wrong. Then whispers suggested doubt. Officers circled back to witnesses, pressing harder, and the question that never went away was the same: was T-Hood's death spontaneous or staged? The city split in two. Some defended Kelsie Frost, swearing no victim should be punished for the death of their abuser. Others swore the signs pointed to cold calculation. And in the middle stood Kirk Frost and Rasheeda Frost, watching their empire unravel. But the most chilling detail wasn't on Twitter or blogs. It came from one neighbor who swore she heard Kelsie Frost scream moments before the shots, "You'll never hurt me again." That single line, stitched into headlines, repeated across blogs, became the haunting refrain of the scandal. Was it a cry for survival or a declaration of revenge? Atlanta wanted answers. The Frost family wanted silence, and the world was left watching, waiting, whispering, who's telling the truth? By the time the case reached the courthouse, Atlanta wasn't just buzzing, it was boiling. Every headline screamed the same names: Kelsie Frost, Kirk Frost, Rasheeda Frost, T-Hood. For months, the streets had been divided: justice for T-Hood or protection for Kelsie Frost. But inside the courtroom, all the tweets, all the blogs, all the viral footage transformed into evidence, testimony, and cross-examination. The Frost family walked into court together, dressed in black like they were attending a funeral, not a trial. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions, and yet all eyes locked on Kelsie Frost. She didn't cry this time. She didn't tremble. She walked steady, chin high, stare unflinching. To some, Kelsie Frost looked like a survivor fighting for her freedom. To others, she looked like a cold-blooded mastermind who had rehearsed this performance one too many times. Inside, the prosecution wasted no time. They painted T-Hood not as a monster, but as a complicated young man. Yes, he had demons. Yes, there were police reports, but they pushed one narrative hard: T-Hood didn't deserve to die. They replayed that shaky viral video for the jury, the one where T-Hood shouted, "You set me up." The words echoed through the courtroom like a haunting prophecy. The prosecutor turned toward the jury and asked the question that had divided a city: was this abuse? Or was this an ambush? Then came the witnesses. A neighbor swore she saw Kelsie Frost waiting outside before the confrontation. Another insisted she heard Kirk Frost's voice shouting, "Handle it." From inside the house, the defense objected, calling it hearsay, but the damage was done. The whispers that once lived online had now been spoken under oath. The Frosts fought back. Rasheeda Frost took the stand first. She spoke with fire, her voice shaking only when she mentioned her daughter's name. "You don't know what it's like to watch your baby come home bruised, crying, terrified for her life. You don't know what it's like to pray every night that a man won't kill your child. My daughter is not a murderer. She's a survivor." Her words brought tears to some in the gallery. But skeptics muttered under their breath, "Survivor" or "manipulator, manipulator." Kirk Frost followed, but his testimony didn't land the same way. Cold, rehearsed, calculated, he insisted the family acted only to protect Kelsie Frost. But when pressed on why thousands of dollars were withdrawn just days before T-Hood's death, Kirk Frost stumbled. He mumbled about business expenses, about family emergencies. The prosecutor's voice cut through the silence. "Business. or payoffs? Mr. Frost, Kirk Frost, didn't answer. His silence was louder than denial. And then came Kelsie Frost herself. The entire room froze as she took the stand. She spoke softly at first, describing nights of terror, bruises hidden under makeup, screams that no one came to stop. She told the jury how he had cut himself and blamed her, how he dragged her by the arms, how he whispered threats when the cameras weren't rolling. Her voice cracked as she said, "I thought I was going to die at his hands that night. I thought it was me or him." The defense clung to those words. They framed Kelsie Frost as the ultimate survivor pushed beyond the brink. But the prosecution struck back with one devastating question. If you truly feared for your life, Ms. Frost, why was he the one who ended up dead, and why were you waiting outside before he arrived? The courtroom gasped. Kelsie Frost froze. Her eyes darted from her mother to her father. For one flicker of a second, the mask slipped. And even her staunchest supporters felt a pang of doubt. The trial dragged on for weeks. Bloggers live tweeted every testimony. YouTubers dissected every pause, every tear, every side-eye. Hashtag JusticeForTHood and hashtag FreeKelsey trended side by side, turning Atlanta's tragedy into the internet's favorite civil war. But the real bombshell didn't come from testimony. It came from another video, just when the world thought they had seen everything. A leaked clip surfaced online, footage from a different angle that night. In this one, shadows revealed more than expected. You could see two figures in the Frost driveway. One was clearly Kelsie Frost. The other, many swore was Kai Frost, Kirk Frost's son. The internet exploded. If true, it meant this wasn't just about Kelsie Frost. It meant the Frost family had shielded another child from the truth. Was it Kelsie Frost who pulled the trigger? Was it Kai Frost? Or was the entire Frost family involved? Theories spread like wildfire. Some said it was an accident. Others swore it was premeditated. Some claimed the Frost rewrote the story until no one knew what was real anymore. By the time closing arguments came, the jury wasn't just deciding guilt, they were deciding history. They were deciding whether the Frost legacy would be remembered as a family that fought abuse or a family that buried the truth. In the end, the verdict didn't silence anyone. It only made the noise louder. Whether guilty or not guilty, whether free or convicted, the Frost name was stained forever. Kelsie Frost's face would always be tied to T-Hood's last words, "You set me up." And in Atlanta, people still whisper. Some swear Kelsie Frost was the victim, others swear she was the villain. But everyone agrees on one thing: the truth of that night is buried deep, protected by power, fame, and silence. The streets may never know exactly what happened between Kelsie Frost and T-Hood, but one thing is certain: the world will never stop asking.